Welcome to the show, Ken Barken. You are an Emmy Award-winning music industry professional with years of experience in writing, producing, and performing music for films, major record labels, television, and advertising. Your music has been on movies such as The Mask and Naked in New York, TV series as well, such as NCIS, Blue Bloods, and General Hospital, just to name but a few. You work in all genres of music from hip hop to country, and you've conducted the St. Louis Contemporary Orchestra. There's loads more to talk with you about what you're up to and what you do, Ken. So thank you so much for joining us, and please do tell us more.
Great to be here, and thanks, Skyler, for asking me. I've started as a jazz musician, really at Berkeley College of Music. Trumpet player, arranger, composition, and both my roommates at the time went off with Woody Herman, which was a real well-known big band. And I had gone to St. Louis at the time and started into production, commercial, songwriting, and kind of went a different direction and ended up here in Nashville. I've been here since mid-'80s.
Right.
And been through the whole gamut of the music career. Known Skyler for 30 years at least.
Yeah. We met
in the mid-'80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as of late, I started Master X, which is a production company, sync agencies, and we deal with about 40,000 songs and tracks and shows like NCIS, like you said, Blue Bloods and films, and that's a brief synopsis.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you write lyrics too?
Oh yeah. You can't come to Nashville and not learn how to write lyrics. I mean, it was a rude awakening when I first got here, and I thought I knew how to write a song. And the lyric writers here are just ungodly.
Yeah.
So over the years, I signed with a couple publishing companies and wrote with some of the best songwriters ever, and learned through the fire. It's like you get the look from the guy, like, you think that's a lyric? Yeah, that's not a lyric.
Wow.
So, but so I write everything, and a lot of co-writing.
Yeah. Where do you get your inspiration from?
Everywhere. It for the longest time, Nashville is a songwriting machine. So guys would have 2-3 songwriting sessions planned a day. You'd have like a 10, a 2, and a 6, just like the session guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you just went from one to the next, and you would just try to crank them out. But everything's real life. Because you learn real fast.
Right.
If you're making it up, it doesn't resonate. If it's not touching somebody, to their story or something they can relate to, you lose your listener pretty quick.
Yeah.
So,
and it doesn't matter how many instruments you put on it too. It's still not.
You can't produce. No, you can't. You can't produce your way out of it.
Yeah.
So, which is why, I mean, the best songs, you hear a guitar vocal, and Skyler, Lionel Richie. I remember seeing an interview with him, playing one of his songs and just piano, and and just kind of talking through the lyric, and you could tell it was a hit.
Yeah, the bass player of the Commodores, Ronald LaPrade, he said, if you can't hear a hit song in between either the piano and the vocal or the guitar and the vocal, I don't care how many tracks you put on top.
That's right. That is so true. We represent that. We represent the Commodores.
Okay.
So that's one of the legacy groups we have.
Yeah, man.
That's so true, though.
Music for Global Change is all about lyrical content too.
Right, and message.
Well, it heals, educates, and solves problems. That's what we.
Right.
And then, of course, happy music, some positive music. People are tired of bad news.
Exactly.
So we need something that's going to uplift people, right?
Oh yeah, no kidding.
And that's what our thing is about. We're going to start festivals of great writers that write social conscious music.
Right.
You put them on stage, kind of not like Motown, but what I want to do is get one band, probably 15 members, to play behind each one of the artists that will come out.
Right.
They'll come out and do 4 or 5 songs, and here comes the next act. Right.
Right.
That I watched what Berry Gordy did, and it was successful. Right. He had Stevie Wonder come out and do 4 songs, and then the Supremes would come out, then the Four Tops would come out, then Marvin Gaye, and it kept moving. And you know what, guys? They didn't even have stage monitors back then.
Mm.
So you're talking about perfect pitch.
Oh
right?
yeah, right.
You get to use this today. I get pissed off at it. I mean, that's
no vocal tuning back then.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
you didn't need it because everybody could reach the note. You didn't
everybody
need
could sing. Yeah, I know.
And so we can get back to that. Just showing young people that you don't need auto tune.
Right.
You don't need to cheat to get there.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I'm happy to have you here, man. Tom, you got a question?
Well, I've got a couple. Firstly, with regards to you being in Nashville, do you find that is a huge? I mean, you briefly mentioned the sort of inspirations you've had in Nashville. Was that kind of a conscious decision for you to go to Nashville, and because of it being such a musical place, or has that just helped you generally?
I'm from St. Louis originally, and when I was leaving Berklee College of Music, really what I wanted to do was film scoring.
Okay.
So I went out to LA and met with a lot of the film score composers and try to formulate my my entry into that whole scene, which is, that's a meat grinder. But I'm only 4.5 hours from St. Louis here in Nashville.
Okay.
And I was into songwriting, so I would just drive down for a week, 3-4 days during the week, meet with publishers and pitch my songs.
Yeah.
And little by little I shifted my focus. I thought, well, this makes much more sense to just try to come down here and get in. Yeah.
The other question I just want to mention was, obviously you do the music for shows and film. How does that work with regard to, does the show come to you first and say, right, we've got a show, this is what we want to try and do? Or are you sort of saying, well, we've got this music, we think it would fit you? How does that work?
Good question. For years, I was a staff writer for the soap operas. I worked for Procter & Gamble, and that's Guiding Light, Another World, and As the World Turns. And there, it was called pre-score or underscore. And basically, they would give you a premise of what was going on in the show. And then all the composers, there was about 5 or 6 of us on each show, and we would create just underscore music that we knew fit the style of the show and whatever the producers liked. So we'd crank out, just a tension cue and then a suspense cue and a romantic cue and all this, and they would pick which one worked for that scene during the show. When I got off of there and I started getting more into the sync agency and doing all that, it's become much less where they approach you and say, we need something like this. Here's a week. Go ahead and create something for us. There's so much music out there now that they go out to all the people on their preferred list and say, I'm working on one right now. It's for a documentary. And this is what we need, what you got. And we need it tomorrow. And that's exactly, I would say 90% of what we do now is, and that's why we have so many. We've got 40,000 different songs and tracks and everything that we pull. So we'll pull 10 or 15 songs or tracks that we think fit that search brief. They'll send you a brief, and they'll say, and this is the scene, or this is the movie premise, and we're looking for something like Brick House, and but we only have $5,000 or $10,000 to spend, and Brick House would cost them, I don't know, 50 grand just for the or more for the copyright. There's two parts to any sync or any piece of music that goes into TV or film. That's the master and the publishing. So either they'll come to us and say, we've got this song, we've got Brick House, we've already got the publishing secured, rights secured. We can't afford the original Commodore's version of it. Can you create another version that we can get for much cheaper? So we do a lot of that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. And there's no publishing.
With the publishing separate, they've already secured, they've already gone to Joe Bett or whoever it was that, had, and they'll secure the rights for the publishing. So now they got the song.
Right.
And then they have to go to the record company if they want the original and secure that. But,
how about the writers?
Well, the writers fall under the publisher. So if it's a publisher writer, that has then they make the deal, but the publisher has the power to sign off on the deal, and then they pay their writers.
And it should be that way.
Well, it protects it's protecting the copyrights.
Right.
So that's the basic procedure now.
Yeah.
It's not so much fun. It was a lot more fun when we could create something. I mean, they would call for a movie and we could write something just for that scene, and that was.
I don't suppose you get very long sometimes. Then it sounds like you don't get a lot of time necessarily to create. It would literally be like a back catalogue. They say, right, we'll have these out of your catalogue because it's fast.
I can't tell you how many. It's EOD, end of day.
Yeah.
Or if you're lucky, first thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a drag, but that's how it is now, off the shelf.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, we're creating this whole new genre that's been there for hundreds of years, right?
Right.
And that's social conscious music. So it doesn't sound sexy, but it's very powerful.
It is. Yeah. And, and we talked a little bit, Skyler, the other day. It's funny because I'm Jewish, and I've been really paying attention to what's going on, in Israel and this whole mess over there. Yeah. And I was saying, I don't know if it's possible, but I've got a lot of musicians from different genres, from Jewish klezmer music to Middle Eastern tabla and Indian, and wouldn't it be great if we could create something that blends all these different genres of music and show that it all works together, and I don't know if we could ever get a forum big enough to make a difference, but
we will.
It's worth a try.
It's exactly what Music for Global Change is.
Right.
I'm trying to introduce writers from all over the world to collaborate with each other.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, some of the sports figures that transcend the different cultures, and there's no reason why we can't do it with music.
Well, it should have been done years ago, but the United States was pretty stingy. Well, and you got to look at them like this. There's so much talent. It's 330 million people, so there's so much talent there. They can't even get everybody to put some light on them. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's it.
But if you open it up to the world, it's different, because when I write with people over here, they have fans I wouldn't have never met.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So we can share fans faster that way.
Right.
Hey, I got a new friend in Paris. I'm right with him. Check us, and he goes and tell all his people.
Right.
You tell all your fans, you're growing fans, and that's what the whole thing is about.
Right. And as a sync agent, we're always looking all around the world because we want something that nobody's heard here. You want to be the first to, back in the day, first to bring reggaeton, to the scene or whatever it is. But well, I've always got my ears open, for some unique sound. I don't know if you've heard klezmer music, but it's very folky traditional music. But you put a tabla to it, or
some kind of beat.
Yeah, I mean, and
beating the bass line, and you roll it.
That's it. We put some lyrics to it, and we got a hit song.
192 million songs have been published, social conscious songs. 192 million.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you call a socially conscious? Because a lot of things have that.
Lyrics that's not about your personal feelings, about you, who you loved or who you killed or whatever it is, right?
Right.
There's just no positive music, and nobody's saying, life ain't all bad.
Right.
It ain't all bad. Let's go talk about people that's doing something positive for each other. We spread that, and then that's going to shock all the people that like, blood and gut movies.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you though, because just like with TV, bad news sells. Good news is hard to sell.
If it bleeds, it leads.
That's right.
I know for a fact, though, I've been doing it 20 years now. So I just stopped writing love songs, man. I started writing songs that can help us, right?
Right.
And I go out and try to inspire people that write music. Go ahead and write some of that stuff. Because if we get enough of it, now we're in good shape, right?
Definitely.
Skyler, for example, some of the music that you've written yourself now, that is kind of in that social conscious vibe. You've got the Positive Vibes track you did, and also you've got the one about the kind of Earth Angels that you've done. They kind of inspire you to think, do you know what? As you said, it's not all bad, but also, and it's good music. I mean, you've had what have you got, Skyler? You've got a couple of tracks that you're yet to release. Is that right?
I have one being released. I don't put them on social media, right? Because there's no money there at all. But I connect them to groups of people that think, like-minded people. There's 8 billion people on the planet. If you can just find a big chunk of people, you can make a living at it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's the problem. It's always been the problem for us is how do you monetize what we do? And it's hard, even at best of times, it's hard to make money off of music. So, but I love where you're going with it. I mean, I think there's such a need there,
So Master Rex,
we represent different catalogs. So, like Curb Records or Motor City Records. So there's a whole underground network of independent sync agents like myself, and we help each other out. If I don't have something, then I know who to call, and
the strike is over now.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing. It was quiet there for a while. Nobody was doing anything. So
yeah, man. I mean, that's like I said, the industry as we know it back then is gone.
Right.
And today it's about going to find your own fans, right? Out of the 8 billion people, you can make a nice living if you can find somebody to go, yeah, I'll buy your record every year.
Right. Exactly.
If you got 100,000 people that spend $10, that's $1 million.
Right.
And that's just once a year. Hey, can you spend $10 on me just once a year? I get 100,000. That's not a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, GoFundMe and those kind of projects are great for different aspiring artists. If you can get a group of people that believe in what you're doing to pledge a little bit of money so you can make a record.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun building these festivals, good news festivals, right?
Right.
With extremely amazing talent that, got.
And so many people that well-known people that you can bring in to elevate the visibility, I would imagine.
See, that's why I love what Berry Gordy did. He made like a 3-hour show but it kept moving, right?
Right.
You didn't have time to get tired of that because I was only got 5 songs, and here come the next act. So I get like a 15-piece band that plays behind everybody.
Right.
And you come out and do your great song that's going to track. So it's about picking great groups with great songs that still know how to entertain. And I want you to bring young people with you. I want them to see, amazing human beings with a tool that's spontaneous, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's instant gratification right there. They need to see that again. They need to see human beings playing music on stage again.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree. We went through that whole period of time with computer music, where everything was so sterile and so perfect. And it's like, oh my God, put me to sleep, and I think past 10, 15 years though, we've reestablished the human element of music. You can't create it in a computer.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you try to do, and now I'm hearing so much about AI, and
it's insane. Man has created all this.
Right.
This monster, right? But at the same time, it's like the human brain is so spontaneous.
Right.
You have to put that into the computer and read it back to yourself.
Well, isn't it weird that all the drum machines, of the day would have the humanize function? It's like, you hit, let's put some human element back in it and go, why don't you just play it?
Play it like a human.
Why don't you just get a human? Why not just get a human to come play?
I know. Yeah. Well, what an idea. Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen though, see, with this whole revolution we're doing, is people going to come out and have a great time because it's, when you're doing social conscious music or happy music,
right?
You really don't need a whole lot of security. Ain't nobody, everybody come on to dance with each other and hug each other and feed.
Right, not to shoot each other.
If come out and feed each other, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's gonna be the energy of the whole thing. And
right.
Once I can do them in like 9 countries, right?
Right.
And then bring talent. See, the thing about it is to bring talent from their country too. I wanted to look international. You know what I mean? Like, not me bringing in a whole lot of people from on this side.
Right.
You got to give some of their musicians some love too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Listen, do you miss playing live?
Sometimes it's fun, because I was never really a performer. I was a trumpet player. I played behind a lot of people, Temptations and Mills Brothers and all those kind of people.
Right.
But I was never a front guy like you, so it's fun to go out. I love to go out and play live music or just, play percussion or trumpet or whatever it is.
Nothing like being in front of music lovers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and especially when it's cooking and everything's working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Social media contacts. How can people see what you're doing, what you do? Do you have a website or some kind of?
Masterrex.com is predominantly, our website is geared towards the industry, but you can go on to Masterrex. It's masterrecs.com.
Okay.
And you can get access to a lot of our music on there. Yeah. But we don't have a
social media
storefront.
No.
Yeah.
That's fine. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, bless you for the privilege of your time, man.
Oh man, I enjoyed it. Boy, went by in a blink of an eye. So,
this
and I'm behind you guys. I would definitely want to keep talking, Skyler, and we'll pull something together.
Thank you, man. I love you, brother.
Save the world.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.